Hola, ¿qué tal? I am Tony Galvez from Road Trip Spain and Portugal, where we help you plan the perfect trip with practical information and insider tips. Today we're going to talk about tapas, a much loved but often misunderstood Spanish tradition. This video is an effort to debunk some myths about tapas. Tapas are a passion shared by locals and visitors alike, and on this video you will find what tapas are and what tapas are not, and we will share 12 pieces of advice to help you make the most of tapas. Okay, so at its most basic, tapas are small portions of food, kind of appetizers, typical from Spain, but while the above statement is basically correct, understanding tapas as simply small portions of food is a serious misunderstanding. This misunderstanding was spread throughout the world through the tapas bars, popular in so many countries around the world. And the actual fact is that the vast majority of those tapas bars abroad are nothing more than restaurants where people go for lunch or dinner, very much like they would go to another type of restaurant. You sit at a table, wait for the waiter to take your order and bring your food, you eat, pay the bill and go home. And that, I am sorry to say, has nothing to do with the tapas experience. So Tony, how would you describe tapas? To be honest, defining tapas is no easy task, but here goes our attempt through 4 essential features that define tapas. Feature number 1, small size. Tapas are formed by small bites of savory food. They can be small but not necessarily minuscule. You can have tapas, strictly speaking, and also raciones, which are basically tapas on a larger scale, often designed to be shared. Tapas can be incredibly elaborate or plain simple. On the simple side of things, a plate of olives or cured meats could fit within the definition of tapa. On the elaborate side of things, the sky is the limit. You will find tapas with multiple ingredients and sophisticated presentations. Tapas can be cold or hot. Cold tapas are usually based on all types of tinned food or cured meats. Feature number 2. Tapas are an informal meal. Forget the tablecloth and napkins. Tapas are often eaten standing up, sometimes at the bar counter, sometimes at a bare table. This does not imply that the culinary quality of the tapas is less than that of a meal. It simply defines the informality of the act of eating tapas when compared to a meal in a restaurant. Feature number 3. Fast tempo. You don't go to a bar for tapas and stay there for hours. Normally you eat tapas in one place, pay the bill and continue your pilgrimage to another bar nearby or far away. So spending the night dining at a tapas bar is the exception rather than the rule. And feature number 4, a ritual. The 4th feature is probably the most important one. Tapas are above anything else a social ritual that goes beyond the food itself. This social character of tapas is reflected in 2 Spanish terms, ir de tapas and tapear, which describe the action of going out to eat tapas. Tapear becomes a ritual that it is complete when it is practiced in the company of others, your colleagues, your family, or especially your friends. You share the food and both the tapas and the drinks provide the setting for conversations that reinforce personal bonds. The difference between going out for a meal at a restaurant or going for tapas is quite distinct in Spain. Often we will ask, what are you in the mood for? Shall we go to a restaurant? Shall we go and have tapas instead? So here's our advice to make the most of tapas. Tip number 1, look for the bars. The best tapas in Spain are served in its bars, taverns and the likes, from the most humble to the most sophisticated. We include here in the list bars that have a lounge where meals are served at bar restaurants. In Spain, the concept of gourmet markets has become very popular in the last 2 decades. The first big gourmet market in Spain, at least in terms of popularity, was the Mercado de San Miguel in Madrid. These are places where under one roof you can find many bars and counters serving a variety of foods. In general, they tend to be places frequented by tourists, whether from other parts of Spain or from abroad. With a few exceptions, locals do not usually go to such gourmet markets. Although the food is not necessarily bad, prices are always inflated. Therefore, as far as possible, look for traditional bars, some with over 100 years of history, where the tapas experience is usually far superior. It is not always the case, but some of our favorite tapas in Spain are served in very humble places. Speaking of which, don't panic if the floor of the bar you're visiting is dirty. For a long time, the number of napkins on the floor has been considered an indicator of the quality of the bar. Don't worry, the hygiene of the dishes has nothing to do with the state of the floor. And by the way, avoid any bar with big signs advertising tapas along with paella, pizzas and hamburgers. Tip number 2. Do your research. To be successful with tapas, you have to do quite a lot of research before you travel. Spain is a very touristic country, and as a result, there are a million bars serving tapas of mediocre quality. Take the opportunity to find out which are the best tapas bars in the city you are going to visit, and find out what each bar's specialty is so you don't miss out on trying it. There are even bars that specialize on a single type of tapa. It would be an unforgivable sin to go to Casa Manteca in Cádiz in the far south of Spain and not try their chicharrones, just as it would be a crime to go to Bodega Donostiarra in San Sebastián in the far north and not order their Indurain. Traveling to Spain and not eating well is a true crime. By the way, do not miss the tapas tours we've already published in the channel, one in Barcelona and the other one in Madrid. They will help you a lot, I'm sure. Tip number 3, at the table or at the bar. There are many different types of tapas bars. Many have a table which may or may not be free. They can be high tables or low tables. It is quite common to eat tapas standing up at the bar or sitting on a high chair if available. In some bars, tables are reserved for people who are going to have a full meal. If in doubt, it's best to ask the waiter. And you can always end up at a table with a different touch, such as a barrel of wine. When the good weather arrives, terraces become another excellent setting for tapas. Everyone likes the outdoors, and in post-pandemic times even more so. Actually, it doesn't even need to be good weather. If it's not raining, it's already a perfect plan. Terraces are also popular in winter, and for 12 months of the year, they are a haven for smokers. Tip 4. Ordering and paying the bill. It is normal, even in the bars with tables, that you have to place your order at the bar and pick up your food from the bar as well. This is the norm, although there are also tapas bars that have table service. Don't do like some tourists who enter the bar and immediately start ordering plate after plate of food. What we Spaniards do is order a drink and 1 or 2 tapas, and if we want to repeat, we order again. You pay at the end, the moment you leave the bar. The waiter will write down all the food and drink you consume. Tip number 5, the menu. Not all of them, but many bars have a menu. It may be useful to ask the waiter. In some bars, the menu is a blackboard on the wall, and there are bars where there's simply no menu at all. Hence the importance, we just talked about it, of researching the destination before traveling. And there are still 2 unwritten menus. The first is the bar counter. Not all bars place the tapas on the bar, even because in many cases the tapas come directly from the kitchen, but wherever there are tapas on the bar, a very common practice in the Basque Country, where pinchos, which we will talk about later, are all on display, take a look to see if there's anything that catches your eye. When we visit a new city, we often go into a bar to order a specific dish, but we end up loving the way another one looks, and we order that one too. The second unwritten menu is made up of the dishes that you will see other people eating. Take a discreet look around. You will often end up making fascinating discoveries. If you like a dish, don't be shy and tell the waiter that you want what they are eating at that table. Tip 6. Tapas and raciones. There is a difference between the dishes in terms of size, which we mentioned at the beginning of the video. It is not a widespread difference, but it is quite common. We are talking about tapas and raciones, which are portions. Strictly speaking, tapas would be small bites of food, often individual, while raciones would be larger portions. The tapa is served on a small plate, while the ración comes on a larger plate and is usually accompanied by a basket of bread. Some places offer half portions for those who don't want to eat so much. Portions can be larger quantities of the same type of food served in a tapa, or more elaborate dishes that cannot be served in the format of small tapa. Tip 7. The drinks. Before even asking you what you would like to eat, the waiter will want to note down your drink. At a tapas bar, the drink is almost as important as the food, and it is customary to accompany tapas with a drink. If you don't want to order an alcoholic drink, there is absolutely no problem. You can order water, soft drink, whatever you prefer. Nobody will look at you funny. Among alcoholic beverages, the classic accompaniment to tapas is beer or wine. In the case of beer, it is usual to order a caña. In the case of wine, you can order by the glass, or if you are several people, order a bottle directly. Unlike in other countries where you order the wine by the grape, a Cabernet Sauvignon for example, in Spain you order the wine by its denomination of origin. You ask for a Rioja, a Ribera del Duero, a Somontano, and so on. You can even ask for the winery, a Marqués de Riscal. There are some exceptions such as the Verdejo, which is a white grape. And of course say whether you want a red, a white or a rosé, as well as the designation of origin. This may surprise you, but in Spain the people who order sangria in bars are tourists. We're not going to say that a Spaniard never drinks sangria. We do it on rare occasions, usually at celebrations, but it's not the type of drink we order when we go out for tapas. And we don't want to close this section without mentioning vermouth, which is becoming increasingly popular. The base of the drink is white wine macerated with aromatic herbs and alcohol. The dark appearance of the drink is the result of adding caramelized sugar to the preparation. Vermouth is traditionally drunk as an aperitif before lunch or in the middle of the afternoon. Tip 8. How to eat. The way you eat the tapas depends entirely on how they are prepared. Normally, if the tapa is small and does not come with a sauce that can stain your clothes, you should eat it with your hands. If the tapa is accompanied by a sauce, it usually comes with a fork and sometimes a knife. If it can break while being eaten, as in the case of a potato omelette, it will also come with a fork. Seafood and fried fish are usually eaten with your hands. In the Basque Country, you use the toothpick to hold the tapa. Sandwiches are eaten with your hands, although you can use a knife to cut them. Tip 9. When to eat. In Spain, eat tapas whenever you feel like it, and when you can find an open bar, of course. But there are 3 classic times for tapas. Mid-morning between 11 and 12, before lunch, and in some cities tapas replace lunch, and in the late afternoon and until midnight. In tourist cities, it is easy to find bars serving tapas all day long, but outside the tourist areas, each bar has its own timetable for serving food. Tip 10. Tapas around Spain. Tapas culture is as diverse as Spain itself. Tapas in Galicia have nothing to do with those in the Basque Country or in Andalusia. Moreover, not all Spanish cities have a great tapas tradition. It may surprise you, but one of those cities where tapas was never a must sport is Barcelona. Everything changed with the arrival of international tourism. Let's talk about 2 local features worth knowing about. The first is pinchos, which is the name for tapas in the Basque Country. Most of them are made up of a piece of bread at the base on which the contents of the tapa are mounted, held in place by a toothpick, which gives the preparation its name, the pincho. In the Basque Country, tapas are a very serious business, and the care taken in the presentation of the pinchos is extreme. The second feature are complimentary tapas. In some cities in Spain, we can't talk about regions, since it changes a lot from one city to another. Every time you order a drink, you get a complimentary tapa. This happens in cities like Alcalá de Henares, Almería, Ávila, Badajoz, Granada, Jaén, León, Salamanca, Segovia, or Vigo. The tapas can be more or less elaborate, and the price of drinks is usually a little more expensive than in those cities where no complimentary tapas are served. In other cities, as it is the case in Madrid, it is normal to get some kind of small plate with olives, nuts, or crisps with your drink. And while we're on the subject of tapas in Spain, would you like to know our favorite cities for tapas? In Andalusia, they are Cádiz, Córdoba, and Granada. In the Basque Country, Bilbao and San Sebastián, and Madrid as well. Tip 11. Bar hopping. We mentioned at the beginning of the video that one of the big mistakes in the concept of tapas that is sold abroad is to see it as a meal that you are going to enjoy in a single place. In Spain, the tapas bar is a stop along a longer walk. Okay, sometimes it has just happened to us that we arrived at a bar where the food was so good, but so good that we didn't go anywhere else. But usually when we go out for tapas, we go to several places. Bar hopping is part of the tapas experience. And tip number 12, mind your wallet. And here we're not talking about the risk of having your wallet stolen, which is very real. Don't forget that one of the favorite hunts of pickpockets in Spain are bars and restaurants. What we want to stress here is that tapas, although delicious, end up being quite expensive. It is much cheaper to eat a menú del día, which usually includes a starter, main course, dessert and drink, than to have a similar tapas-based meal. Don't forget that. Since the price of an individual tapa is not very expensive, it is very easy to get carried away and end up spending much more on tapas than a restaurant dinner would have costed you. This brings us to the end of the video. We hope you enjoyed learning more about the concept of tapas in Spain. You will see now on the screen our proposal for a tapas tour around the center of Madrid. We hope you enjoyed. There are some delicious tapas along the way. Até mais, hasta la próxima, see you soon.